Hi friends, this story is called The Mitten. In this story, a little boy named Nicky has a white mitten and he loses it in the snow. And he can't find it, but the animals find it. So in the story, there's lots of different kinds of animals and you might know some of them and you might not. Maybe some of them are new animals to you. Let's get started. This book is by Jan Brett. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. Ooh, look at that snow. The pictures in this story are really beautiful. And on the side, if you look here, you can see who's coming up next. It might be a person or it might be an animal. There's somebody who's coming up next on the next page. Oh, it's his grandmother. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. What's this? Just snow. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound. But then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. He dropped one of his mittens. Oh, I can kind of see it right here. There it is. Now let's look in this little mitten-shaped window. An animal. That's a mole. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size. So he decided to stay. Okay, I'm going to bring up the picture close. There goes the little mole into the mitten. It looks like it's going to be a warm place to stay. Let's look over here and see who's next. What's that one? It's a rabbit. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them. But when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Okay, let's see. The mole is there, and here's the rabbit squeezing in. Oh, they're both fitting in that mitten. Looks like maybe it's stretching out a little. All right, let's see what's next. Ooh, what is that? That animal is coming up next. It's a hedgehog. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. They made room for the hedgehog. Look, squeezing in, and the mitten stretching out bigger. Now there's a mole, a hedgehog, and a rabbit. Who's next? Aha, do you know that one? It's an owl. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. That's the talons. They're sharp claws on the owl. Okay, we'll move over and let you in. Rabbit, hedgehog, mole, and owl. Right. Oh boy, let's see who's next. Do you see a little face? Oh, right there. That's a badger. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There's no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Okay, he's got claws too. And they said, we're a little scared of those claws. We better let him in. They're going to let him go in the thumb. There's the thumb of the mitten. Wow, they're really squeezed in there. This mitten stretched out big. And they still have to let the badger in. And guess what? Here comes a fox. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox, trotting by, stopped to investigate. He thought, what's happening here? Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Oh my goodness. How is that fox going to fit in that mitten? Look what I see. An animal's nose is peeking out of the mitten. All right. Oh boy, you're not going to believe who's next. What's that? That's a bear. Oh my goodness. Look at the size of this mitten. It stretched so much. And now look who's looking. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. And not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed as tightly as they could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? We'll let you in, they said. The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast. It did not break. Do you think that bear will fit? Oh my goodness. He's gonna get in. Let's see if there's another animal coming. It's a little mouse. Oh my goodness, look at the mitten. Do you see that the bear is now in the mitten? Mitten is giant. And here comes a mouse. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn, very tiny. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. Look, there's the mouse on the bear's nose. Oh my goodness. The big bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. Oh my goodness. Oh no. We're not in the mitten anymore. The mitten is going to shoot up to the sky. Up, up, up it goes. Look, and now it's floating down again. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten, silhouetted against the blue sky. He sees it. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe. And then she saw that he still had his new mittens. Wow, he did. I don't think she knows that he lost it for a while. And she sees that one mitten is the same as it was earlier. But look at that mitten. That one is all stretched out. Do you know why it got so big? Do you remember what happened? Remember all the animals. All of these animals squeezed into the mitten. And that's why it got so big. Well, it was a cozy mitten. I like that story. There's lots of different animals in that story. Thanks for reading The Mitten with me.